Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Hope you're well. And first of all, just quickly, I'm going to say this, I'll get it out of the way, and then we will never speak of such matters again. First of all, I do apologize for taking down the stream last night. And there were things said on the stream which don't align with what I want to be as a channel and don't align with football conversation. So that is why the stream has gone. Many things. Oh, I've dropped my phone. Sorry, here I am. Dropped my phone on the floor. That's why the stream was deleted. I'm getting a lot of messages asking me why. That's all it is. There's some things that you talk about maybe on your own channel, but there's some things you don't talk about on other channels, and that's where we're at. Big up, good afternoon, evening, morning to all of you. Look, we're not playing today. It's relaxed. And again, apologies about the hair. I am getting a haircut soon. I'm getting all a bit messy and fluffy. Look at this. I'm like proper beard going on. Guys, the reason for this show, and by the way, I've asked some people to come on. They might come on over the next hour or so. And you know, Philly was in the group chat that I was talking about earlier. One of my groups with lots of Spurs YouTubers and Spurs fans, we were talking about does it matter who's in charge of Spurs? And you know, obviously ensued was a really big, long-winded debate between us all. And there are those that have the feeling that it doesn't matter who's in charge of Spurs because we don't win titles. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we don't get over the line. So it doesn't matter who's in charge of Spurs. It could be Ange. It could be Jose. It doesn't matter. Then there are others who are in the camp of, well, hang on. Of course it matters who's in charge of Spurs. You know, we know where we are in the food chain. We know we're not expected to win league titles, but it does matter who's in charge of Spurs because we shouldn't be doing this badly. And obviously you all know, it's no secret, you all know that I am in that camp. I am in the camp of, yeah, I don't expect Tottenham to win league titles. There are bigger and better football clubs than us. There are clubs that spend way more money. But does that mean we just turn around and go, oh, don't worry then. Don't worry, we'll just sit 15th. I don't see that as a valid argument at all. So, look, it was just an interesting one. I thought we'd talk about it. I'll get your guys and girls' opinion, and we'll see who pops up. We've got a few people that have said they might pop on. But hey, let's see what happens. Good evening, good afternoon to you all. Listen, on the poll today, the poll is quite simple. Is Ange the worst manager we've had in the Premier League era? At the moment, there are 90 votes exactly, and yes are 82, no are 18%. So just interesting to see. And again, we've got the new Spurs fans and the Ange Obsession channel. Yes, because he's ruining my football. You do realise that being a channel of one club, and what I mean by that is you've got other good channels out there, like look at my boy Kaz. He's got Never a Foul Media. They don't concentrate on one club. So they talk about Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man U, Man City, Newcastle, Villa, blah, 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 blah. Of course, they talk about everything. We're a Tottenham-centric channel. So yes, Ange is the manager. Spurs are doing badly, of course, but we're not an Ange-centric channel. I don't like Daniel Levy. I don't like Daniel Levy channel. We'll talk about the players. It is what it is. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of uneducated Spurs fans like this. Unfortunately, no offense, I said it to your face when you came on. When you do come on, you just demonstrate you don't understand our football club in any way, shape, or form, which is why you're not as upset as I am about a manager that's doing a god-awful job. Now, let me caveat that before people go mad tomorrow. We will beat Leicester City tomorrow because Leicester City are crap. We should beat Hoffenheim, which we did, because Hoffenheim are crap. We will beat Elfsborg because Elfsborg are much lower down the food chain than us, coming to play us in our own ground. We will win that. It's not where my issue is. My issue is the form overall. The last 15, 16 months, whatever it's just been dreadful. So again, a lot of this debate is about the manager, but it's also about the owners. It's also about, do the owners have the appetite to go again? Do the owners have the appetite to say, right, well, we're 24 years into this. We've built the stadium. We've got the Club Champions League football over and over and over again. We've got the revenue coming in. We've got the endorsements. We've got the sponsorships. We've got the partnerships. We've got the NFL. We've got concerts. We've got boxing. We've got Formula One. We've got the Skywalk. Have they now got the cojones to turn around and say, now we're going to go and win football, go and win football leagues and trophies? I don't think they have, but I don't think that means you just turn around and say you stick with whatever manager you've got. I mean, look, and there are people who think, there are people, big up to Junior Matthew 80, great picture, said, Savva, we aren't beating Leicester, mate. They will want it more. Well, look, for me, I said, if he doesn't beat Leicester City, that should be an automatic sacking. They are the worst team in the Premier League at the moment on form. I believe, if I'm not wrong, they've not won in the Premier League in 10, and I might have made that bit up. I'm pretty sure they've not won in 10 and lost 7 in a row, if I'm not wrong. Somebody in the chat will be able to check that stat and fact for me. Let's see who's in the chat, shall we? We always get the same old people, which I love because you guys are my family. You're the FHTV family. Before we do, it's freezing cold in South London, so I'm going to have a drink out of my Hey Good Looking cup. 1 second. I can tell you I've got far too much sugar in there. And we got some dairy milk. Lovely, jubbly. Right. Big up Daryl Denson. Daryl was one of the first people to ever subscribe to my channel. So big up to you, Daryl. He said it in a way, no, it don't. No manager gets fully backed anyway. We just did a limbo of rinse and repeat till we land lucky once again with a manager who will overachieve what he gets given. Now, sorry, didn't realize how hard that little bit of chocolate was. It was really difficult to swallow. Now, Daryl, I don't disagree with you. I also don't agree in a way. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you're absolutely right. In a way, it doesn't matter. But we have had managers that have overachieved. We have had good managers that get the best out of players, managers that actually understand tactics. And that's all I want back. Big up to Finn Rickwood. Hope you're well, my friend. So for him, it doesn't matter the manager in terms of winning, as Enoch and Levy will never splash the cash on top players. But we have seen managers develop younger players and make them good. We need a coach. Absolutely. Finn, wise before your years. Big up to you, Finn. Big up to Tony Rodriguez, who thinks it's going to be Spurs 1, Leicester 2. I think we'll beat Leicester. I'll say that all weekend. And it won't matter when we do beat Leicester, the number of people that will come in and go, see, and have you changed your mind? No, I'm not going to change my mind because we beat Leicester City. Of course we would. Of course we would, Tony. Big up to you, my man. Big up to Sue Smith. How you doing? Sue says, yes, of course it matters. These players need a coach, not a clown. Listen, forget the clown part. I completely agree with you. These players do need a coach. They really do. By the way, we lost 45 subscribers last night because of that stream. So if you would subscribe to help me back on the road to 16K, that would be absolutely amazing. So please do. Sue has just said, Ange out. Levy out. Ange out. Big up to you, Vinny Rowley. Just your general AV geek has said this 9% that thinks Ange isn't the worst probably don't support Spurs. Well, at the moment, we're at 20%. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of people that don't understand Spurs. No offense, it will be those people that have just started supporting us that think he's doing a good job. Listen, as I said, I've supported Spurs a very long time. And for me, I've got no reason to not like this manager other than the fact that he's terrible. Where are we? There we go. Oh, sorry, I've missed a few. Sorry. Anjin, I catch up. Oh, Vindaloo's here. Of course he is. Saying Anjin. Mark has said, afternoon. Yes, it does matter. Maybe not player-wise, but a better manager develops a more cohesive system and style of play. Do you know what? This word develop is something that keeps coming up in all these comments. For me, whether it's developing a style, developing players, agreed. This is what we need, someone that can develop. Video complete. Sofiane has come around. At one point, he was telling me how good Spurs are going to be under Ange. Hang on. Somebody said here, what? Uh, sorry. Sorry. Ignore me. Sorry. Someone said something that I can't read out. But anyway, big up to you. Big up to Alan, who said it does not matter who the manager is. In the end, the board will always put business over football. Sure, but does it matter if you're 15th or 5th? Like, does that matter? Does it matter if you're 15th or 4th? Like, I feel like surely the barometer, Alan, surely can't be, well, we're not winning league titles, nothing else matters, because only one team wins the title every year. So surely we can't just all say, well, if we're not winning titles, nothing else matters. Big up to you. Good afternoon, whether this is Mark or Mark, whichever Mark it is, big up to you. Yes, Mark said it 100% matters. As we've seen with the likes of Conte, a competent manager gets us organised, wins games and finishing in Champions League spots. We haven't been this bad for over 20 years. Yeah, I mean, we haven't lost this many games in 22 for 47 years, Mark. 47 years. And by the way, there is the link to subscribe. If you haven't, please do. That would be amazing. Mike Pepper, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to Mark Taylor. So I won't be able to read every comment out, by the way. There are so many. Yes, I know. Yes, this 19% are either not Spurs fans or clearly don't know the football club, because he is absolutely dreadful. By the way, in the Championship, the game currently at the moment is Luton 0, Millwall 0. Norwich are beating Swansea 1-0 at half time, and Stoke 0, Oxford 0. We've got an ACCA today for anyone that cares. I know people seem to like my ACCA. My ACCA today is this. I have gone with 6 teams. I've gone with Bournemouth to beat Forest. I'm a bit iffy on that one, but Bournemouth to beat Forest, Brighton to beat Everton, Sunderland to beat Plymouth, Charlton, who always let me down, to beat Shrewsbury, Wickham to beat Northampton, and then Manchester City to beat Chelsea. And that's 15-1. That's a 15-1 ACCA. Let me know what you think about that. Big up to my man, Ben. How we doing, bro? Hope you're well. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I know you're in London, but hey, it is what it is. Draven has said, how long do you think we should keep a manager? The reason we don't give them a chance is because Levy and his clan never want to give them the support they need. Sure, but let's be brutally honest. This guy's doing a terrible job. He's doing a terrible job. Everything can't be blamed on Daniel Levy. It can't be, oh my God, we play a terrible high line. Well, that's on Levy. Oh my God, the substitutions are terrible. That's on Levy. So when people like Liam say things like this, I do like fans like this. When they say things like back the manager, why would I back someone that I don't believe in? Why would I back a manager when I think his tactics are dreadful? He comes across terribly. His substitutions are awful. Why would I back that? I get the understanding that our fans make us embarrassing, but surely the fact that we've lost 12 in 22 games makes us embarrassing, no? Thanks for ignoring. Big up to you, Mark. We absolutely need a win. We've got to win. We can't say we beat Hoffenheim. Don't worry, we can lose the next one. We've got to win. We've got to win. We are 9 points off the top half. We have got to win. LK, sorry, just quickly before I get to that, big up, Avi. How we doing, bro? Hope you are well. LK has said, what did you make of Andrew's comments? Mate, every time this man talks, I have no idea what he's trying to say. He changes his mind every 15 seconds. I don't know. I really don't listen or buy into a single word the manager says. I think it's all a lot of nonsense. I back Andrew. Most of the stadium does too. Lucky Levy is smarter than most fans. So now Levy is good, is he? So Levy is good. See what I mean, guys? We're all over the place as a fan base. When you're saying most of the stadium does too, sure. I mean, I'm sure they're really enjoying watching us 15th in the table. I'm sure. Absolutely madness. Drink with sugar, chocolate bars. I'm shaking my head with, sorry. I know. I'm sorry. No, I'm not, Steve. I'm not doing a 3 p.m. watch along. I've got a stream at 5:15 for the Man City Chelsea game, mate, today. So I've got 2 today this afternoon. Wolf 39 message me, Steve. Wolf 39 said Conte currently first with Napoli, Mourinho second in Turkey, Nuno third with Forest. Speaks volume about the club and what some can do with the right board and tactics. Sure, but would you have expected? Conte to have been top with Tottenham? Would you have expected Mourinho to have been top with Tottenham? I'm not sure we would have. I don't know. Each to their own. This big up Lubo. Nice group.
How you doing? I'm in the car.
How we doing, mate?
Might not be able to see, but yeah, all good. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I love this. We're all going to watch your steering wheel move from left to right. It's fun.
Do you
I
think
like
so?
it.
Okay.
It's like an Ange press conference. Just one way to the other. One way to the other, my man. Don't worry. We know what you look like. We know what you look like. But where are we? Yeah, so look, Lubo, you were in the chat we're having earlier. Look, what did you, first of all, before we do anything else, what did you make yesterday, Lubo, of Ange's comments that we're in a better place now than when he arrived? Yes or no? I mean, obviously expand, but do you agree?
Yes and no. Yes, because he has. Yes, because he walked it. So I've got sat nav just taking me out of Peterborough towards the A1, and I'll turn it off in a sec. Yes, because at the end of the season, when Stellini and Mason had gone, the squad was in a real terrible mess. Perisic is brought in, Vicario. He's brought in Udogi. He brought in Basuma. The squad was better. Then Ange added Maddison and Van der Ven and Johnson. Forget Solomon and Veliz because they obviously that didn't exist basically for the first team. But in terms of are we in a stronger position? No, we're not. He's got better players, but his system of football has basically taken us down to 15th. Has taken us down to 15th in the league. So yes, better squad, but he's done nothing with it. In fact, he's made us worse. So two answers there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Lubo, isn't it? Because when we look at it, I feel like this manager's got this knack of saying the right thing at the right time to appease a lot of fans. And what I mean by that is, Spurs are in a right mess at the moment. We're 15th. We've had our worst year for nearly 47 years. And he has for me, the barefaced cheek to come out with, we're better than when I arrived. And there are fans just going, yeah, he's right. Can you understand why he says these things? Is this a manager under pressure just saying waffle?
I think he's fighting to save his job.
Yeah.
I think, the guy's intelligent. He'll know from past history that this chairman isn't going to sit around with the club losing games game after game for long. So he's fighting to save his job. So he'll come out with Postecoglou PR, PR Ange team, and this is what he'll come out with, to try and deflect again. Which he's very good at doing, because what I don't understand is how all these fans have taken to him, bearing in mind where we stand 18 months after he started, and bearing in mind that it's not like he's an Ancelotti or a Mourinho or a Conte, or someone that's gone and won a European trophy and leagues in Europe. He's come from Australia, Japan, and Scotland. So, okay, the fact he's won it in those three countries deserves respect, but up to a level, it's not respect on the same level as into Spurs. Yeah. So maybe I'm using a more extreme example of Ancelotti, who's won leagues in three different countries and European Cup in three different countries. So for me, I don't get it. I don't get it. His PR is great. He comes across as a happy, jovial chap. And he's living off the first 10 games. Everybody thinks that we can recreate that, but it's not. It's just not happening.
No, I agree with you. 1 second. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Can't make that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
I can hear you.
We're going to change the title of the show to Driving with Lubo. Driving with Lubo. Is Lubo the Stig? Asks Mark Sheff. Is Lubo the Stig? I do find this interesting though, Lubo, that, you know, as a fan base, as a football club, I do think that whether we think we're right, you know, whether I think I'm right, whether you do, whether someone else in a chat who completely disagrees, the fact that we are all so at each other's throats all the time, and the fact that there are so many different opinions, just tells you what a mess we're in, doesn't it? And what I mean by that, Lubo, is when a club's all pulling in the right direction, most fans are happy. Like right now, how many unhappy fans are there at Aston Villa? How many unhappy fans are there at Brighton? How many unhappy fans are there at Fulham? But we've constantly got this kind of split of happy fans, not happy fans. Is that a kind of byproduct of us being run in such a shambolic way by the owners? Can you hear me?
Yes, I think it's all. Honestly, I know we've been going back and forward on the WhatsApp group this morning, but I do genuinely think. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're about 30 seconds behind.
Right. What was I going to say? I think this is all down to the owners. I think the whole lot is down to the owners. I think it doesn't matter.
Lubo, we've lost you.
We talk about we're 15th. We've got a squad that's better than 15th. We bring Iriola in. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've got you now. Yeah. You're back.
Hello?
You're back.
You got me now. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
I think the whole thing, and looking at your title for today's show,
Lubo, we've lost you, mate.
At the end
we're losing you too much.
I'll come back to you when I get on the A1. Give me
come back to me then. Yeah, because we can't hear you. Yeah. Come back to me. Right, guys. I mean, so let me ask you guys this question then. Why are we always so split as fans? So I'll ask you this question, guys. For example, it's like when you sign a top player, i.e., let's use Cunha, for example. Now, Cunha, we're hearing that Arsenal want him, Villa want him, Nottingham Forest want him. Do you think there's going to be a single fan of any of those three clubs that says that's not a good signing? Does anyone think there's going to be a single fan of those clubs that says, nah, this isn't for me. I don't want Cunha, right? When do Spurs make those types of signings? This is just an example, by the way. This is just an example. When do Spurs make a signing where the whole fan base goes, good signing, right? I don't think we do. I don't think we do ever have that. I think we get players where we go, okay, like Solanke. Solanke's a great example. Solanke in the summer, some fans lost their mind. Yeah, brilliant. Look what he did last year. Other fans like me were, it's okay. It's all right. But, I mean, I show skills. You don't rate Cunha. How are we not rating Cunha? I mean, come on. In the chat, who would want Cunha at Tottenham, right? Who would want Cunha? And this, for me, kind of is indicative of where Spurs are as a club. No matter what the manager is, no matter who the players are, no matter what we do, we don't really ever We don't really ever have that moment where we all go, yeah, the Van der Vaart moment. The Van der Vaart moment, right? Where we signed him and the whole fan base went, have we just signed Mickey? Have we just signed Rafa van der Vaart? Have we just signed Rafa van der Vaart? We don't have that anymore, do we? I'm seeing that we're linked with players like Brobby of Ajax. We're linked with players like Cardoso at Real Betis. You know, we're linked with these players where, you know, it's like when we signed Odegaard, Johnson, Solanke. We're signing a lot of players where we go, is this really what we need as a football club? Welcome. Mark Cook's in the house. How you doing?
All right, Savva, how you doing, mate? Nice to see
you. I'm good. Yeah.
What's happening?
I mean, well, we've got someone called The Vibe saying, you want better players and want Cunha. He's so average. We must be watching a very different football of The Vibe. Cunha is quality. Mark, I give up. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Thanks very much, sir. Thanks for having me on, mate. I really appreciate it. Cheers, fella.
Always. Mark, I'm just having a conversation at the moment, more with myself than anything else, and with the chat about we always seem to be at loggerheads as a fan base, as a football club, manager versus director of football, director of football versus owner, owner versus manager, fans versus player, fans versus pundit. We always seem to be so split as a football club. Why are we so split? Why are we never all singing from the same hymn sheet? Like we were for a very long period under Pochettino, for example.
It's difficult, Sav, to actually put your finger on it. I think a lot of the younger fans can't differentiate between wanting Ange out and wanting Levy out. Wanting Ange out and wanting Levy out. You know, some are in both camps, some are only in one camp. But
great.
It's just, you know, my son's 30 and he's been a Tottenham fan all his life, same as I have. But we have conversations now about the manager, about the chairman. Now, we're agreed on the chairman. We can't see where that's going.
Yeah.
But my lad is the, you know, oh, he needs a bit more time, Dad. Look at the injuries and he's full of excuses. But when I go to him and give him the facts like you present regularly, it's not that he doesn't like it. He can't accept it.
Yeah.
He seems to think it's whatever we put out there should win. And I'm telling him we're not at that stage. Our squad is not at that stage.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? And having Ange in charge isn't helping matters at all for what we've got and how we play.
No, I mean, absolutely. But I mean, the funny thing is, and again, when we look at the whole Daniel Levy thing, I mean, first of all, I don't know another owner that gets talked about as much as Daniel Levy. Now, that might be Mark, because we're in the Spurs bubble. Then maybe I don't hear it enough. But I'm pretty sure when I speak to other football fans, I'm not hearing them talk about their chairman as much as Tottenham Hotspur, right? In the pot train, proper coach, developed players, didn't get back loads of money, but turned us into a really good team, Mark, where I think most of the fan base went into games really excited. I don't know about you, but I went into Saturdays thinking, we're going to win this Saturday. Do you know what I mean? I went in thinking, yeah, we're better than these. We're solid at the back. We're organised. So when we talk about it being Daniel Levy and Enoch, we have had spells under them where, all right, we didn't get from there to there, Mark. We didn't get to Man City and Liverpool levels, but we were at a level where people respected us. We were a well-drilled, well-oiled team. So why can't we have that again? Why is it this notion that we have to keep Ange because no one else out there could possibly do what Poch did, what Redknapp did? Why is that the notion?
From my perspective, I don't get what people are seeing on the pitch that gives them any inclination that Ange is the man to do the job at the moment at Tottenham. Right? I don't think he'll ever be ready. Personally, that's me. His tactics are kamikaze. It's just madness. Every week you watch it, and it's not like we all haven't been sitting here for months saying, well, is he going to change? And is he going to change? And you've got the telly on, and they're like, well, is he going to change this week? And there is no change. The only time there's change is when teams like City and Villa force themselves upon us. So then, and only then, we're playing counter-attacking. And when we play counter-attacking, Savva, we look a much better team. But I don't think that's by design at all. I think that was the way Man City play. It just set up perfectly for us to play between the lines. It worked for us. And it has in a few games this season against teams that come at us and against teams that are poor. But then on the same side, we're losing at home to Ipswich with a full team. So where are all the Anginas now telling me about that? Because I don't hear anything about that when we had a full team out, the full team, and we're losing at home to Ipswich. You know, so that's a very frustrating part of it for me. You know, when people won't spit out why it's so good when we're losing at home, because they were our best players on the pitch. That was our starting 11. That's the starting 11 that he's going to pick when all those players are fit. So for me, a lot of it's down to mentality, Sav. I think mentality runs all the way through the club. And at the end of the day, as much as players want to win, if you've not got the right manager and you've not got the right tools, it's very difficult to do that. But at the same time, that doesn't stop us, like you said, finding a manager like a Poch, like a Harry Redknapp, someone who coaches the players on the pitch and gets the best out of them. Stop putting square pegs in round holes. Let's get some round pegs in round holes. Get a tactics, get a system that the players can play, that they're happy to play, and then we can start maybe moving in the right direction. But there's a long way to go, Sav, a long way.
See, I agree with you, Mark. And again, this for me is what, like, it's a good time for Lubo to be joining, because this is what Lubo and I were disagreeing with earlier in the WhatsApp group. Was, for me, I think there's two different arguments that go on when people talk about, does it matter which manager's in charge? Well, when we had Harry Redknapp and Poch, it was still the same owner. So the argument that it doesn't matter who's in charge, we're going to be terrible, whatever, isn't really true. I think for me, it's a cop-out for managers that are poor, right? Yes, we can say Jose and Conte, for example, Mark. Jose and Conte, for me, I think they're the anomaly in terms of we knew both of them shouldn't have been at this football club. If we're going to be brutally honest, we knew that this isn't the normal type of club they take over. We knew the manager's not going to give them their top players to go and win titles. So for me, I always thought we don't need that. We need a coach. We need a Redknapp. We need a Poch. We need a Martin Jol. But Lubo, I'm going to bring you in here. You don't think it matters who comes in, do you? Let's see if he's got me now.
No, I don't. I'll tell you why, Sav. I'll tell you why. We've got managers that... Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear, right? It should be. I'm just going on the A1 for about 60 odd miles, so I should be clear all the way through now, hopefully.
Okay.
Right, I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Out of all the managers that we've had, and we've had some very good managers.
Yeah.
The closest we have come to a trophy, let's take Ramos League Cup out for a second. The closest we have come to a league or a Champions League has been Pochettino. Agreed?
Yeah. Him and Redknapp, I would say, yeah.
Well, Harry got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Poch was getting second and third for 3 years running in the league and a Champions League final. So
yeah.
Let's use Poch as the barometer.
Yep.
Poch inherited several players that were bought and then brought in 3 or 4
Yep.
that were all bought at sensible transfer fees before the transfer market went berserk.
Yep.
Yeah, with Neymar and Mbappe, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We now know that Levy is not going. You know, you're looking at 50, 60 million for a sort of player that you were going to get for 15, 20 million when Poch was manager and Paul Mitchell was pulling the strings.
That's not true.
That's
That's not true. Well, so again, I'll go back to my trusted line with you, Ian.
Transfer inflation.
Sure, but then again, why do Fulham,
hear me out. So
Brighton, why can they all find good players that aren't 40, 50, 60 million?
But Fulham aren't good. Right, hang on one sec. Right, okay. Right, now you're right. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tottenham Hotspur being at the top table, not being a Fulham or a Brighton or a Brentford or a Forest who will probably finish 4th, 5th or 6th.
Yep.
I'm talking about challenging properly because we've been there. We've had Poch, we've had the 2nd, 3rd and 4th. We've had the finals, we've had the semi-finals. I'm talking about Tottenham being a step on from there. And that's different, I think, to what you're talking about. I think we're talking different conversations. I'm talking about Tottenham being a major force in this country year after year after year. And we don't have the owners who are going to back any manager. As we've seen, we've had 24 years.
Oh, we've lost him. Mark, let me bring you in. Looks like we've lost Lubo. See, I understand what Ian's saying, but you know when I said at the beginning, Mark, that we conflate two conversations, I think there's a huge difference between talking about will Levy back a manager to be I think to use Lubo's terms there, it was a major driving force versus just being a very competitive football club. And where we are at the moment, we're so far away from winning anything. Surely it matters who's the manager just to get us back to some sort of respectability, doesn't it? I mean, or am I going mad? I don't.
Yeah, well, just before Lubo Carthy was saying, I'm exactly the same as you as regards to, you know, we've won the Premier, the league twice in our lifetime, you know, and you know, we are not in a position with who the owners are, because we know they invest to a point. You know, there's a certain amount of money that says, well, Ange's had a lot of money spent, badly spent, most of it.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know how to get the words out. So,
no, God, just say whatever. You say it, I'll piece it together.
Like I said earlier, you got Levy.
Yep.
Doing his thing. Now, for me, he's investing in the team to a point, you know, Van der Ven, but we've also had, you know, for every one decent one we get in, we get about 6 crap ones or 6 very average ones.
Yep.
You know, so he's not putting enough in. It doesn't matter what manager's there. We know that he's not going to put enough in. Right. For me, into the team, look, he's going to have to change everything. If he wants to start getting, you know, good to very good players, and we're not talking up here, we're talking about teams that want to come to Tottenham. If he wants to start doing that, obviously he's got to pay more wages. We can see what he's doing. He's cutting everything down.
Yeah.
Everything's being cut down. Now, you know, Sav, you've been in accounts and stuff like that and whatever. Business stuff. I don't know a lot about that. But in any walk of life, the more you cut, the tougher it gets to be where you were.
Of course.
Right? And at the moment, we are seeing what's going on as far as Levy is concerned in that part. Yeah. For me, Ange Postecoglou is not the right manager for Spurs. Now, you was talking earlier. We have to get someone who can coach players.
Yeah, agreed.
Because every week, all we're seeing is round and round and round in circles. You might get a good result here and there, but losing half of your last 50 games in charge, I can't understand any Tottenham fan in their head that thinks that's okay.
I know. And 12 out of 22 this year in the league alone, Mark,
it's shocking.
Well, the last time we did that, Mark, and sorry, not being rude, but you would have seen this because you are slightly older than me, just by a few years, I guess. You know, the last time we did this, Mark, was 1977.
Yeah. So I watched Terry Neal Savva as a young kid.
Yeah.
My dad telling me he's running this club into the ground as the manager. Birkinshaw came in. Yeah, we went down the following year. They gave him a bit of time because they could see something. And you know the rest is history. 81 FA Cup final, 82 FA Cup final.
Yeah.
You know, but I was only, 76. So I'd have been 8 then, Sav, 8 or 9. So I didn't go every week. But when my dad could take me, I went.
Yeah.
And
but my point is, Mark, that season was the last time we lost 12 of our first 22 games.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I'm not wrong, back in those days, it was 2 points for a win.
Yeah.
And it was a 42 game season, not a 38 game season.
Yeah.
So we lost 12 in 22. That's the year we went down. Now, I've said all along, we're not going down. We're not going to go down. There's a lot worse teams than us in this Premier League. But like you said, how can people look and go, right, from our last 50 games, we've lost 50% of them. Don't worry, we're on the right track. And then the manager turns up in the interviews and says, we're better than when I picked us up. Nah, factually, mate, we're worse. We're a lot worse, factually. And it's only because we've had a couple of good cup wins this season that have made people go, well, he could win a cup. But his BAU, his business as usual, which is the Premier League, shows us teams have figured him out. Teams know how to beat us. Yeah. And yes, he'll get enough wins, Mark. He will. He'll get wins that I think will win tomorrow. He will get enough wins against the Leicester Cities. Yeah, he will get enough wins against these teams to stay in the job for the short term. I can't understand, like you, how any of our fan base sits there and goes, this is good enough. And you know what? The last thing I'll say to you, if our owner wasn't Daniel Levy, that has so much kind of heat around him in terms of how much he's talked about, if it was any other chairman, we'd be sitting here right now saying, come on, chairman, you've got to sack him. If it was any other chairman, if this was a new owner that had come in and this was their first manager, you'd be going, oh, you picked a dud here. I think he's being saved by the hate for Daniel Levy, if I'm honest. I think he's getting a free ride from a lot of this fan base for how bad he's doing.
Yeah, it's not good, mate. When you've supported a club as long as we have, no disrespect to you, Savva, I know you're sort of a bit behind me, but you know,
I'm old enough. Look, I've got those lines on my head. Right.
Well, what I was going to say is we've seen some good times. We've seen good times in the past, in the 80s, you know, and it's been a long time. We're on a massive trajectory that way. We are going downhill rapidly. Yeah. Right. And I will disagree with you slightly, Savva, because I do agree with 99% of what you say. But I think we are.
It won't offend me if you disagree with me, Mark.
No, I think we get beat in the next couple of games and don't pick up a win in the Premier League. As right as you are to say, there are 3 worse teams than us in the league, probably 4 at the moment, you know, on current form. If we keep losing, if confidence is that low and we don't start winning in the league, you know how it can turn out. It can just keep going on a steamroll, and before you know it, you've got 6 games less and you've lost 19, 20 games, and you're in serious trouble.
Mark, I agree with you. I think the difficulty is what I say. The difficulty, the reason why I think we're safe is, and again, look, I'll bring up the table, right? And for me, this for me is everything, right? If we bring up this Premier League table and we look at the bottom half, which is embarrassing that we're even looking at the bottom half, right? Big up to my man Jay, by the way, I'm going to bring in here as well. If we look at the bottom half, big up, Jay. I'll come to you in 1 second, bro. If you look at the bottom half here, Mark, and Ian and Jay, I hear what you're saying. But Ipswich, let's take Ipswich. They are the team in the bottom three closest to us, right?
Yeah.
Ipswich are 8 points behind us. Might as well make it 9 points because we've got a 33-goal swing on the goal difference, right? So we've got a 9-point swing on them. That means whatever Spurs do for the rest of this season, let's say we win 5 more games in 16. That means that Ipswich Town would need to win 8 of 16. Ipswich would have to win 50% of their games, and they've only won 3 all season. It's not impossible, Mark, but it would take a monumental effort for Ipswich or Leicester to overtake Tottenham in this position right now. And if they did, Ange would have to go down as the worst manager this club has ever had. Ever.
I don't think he's far off anyway, so to be honest with you, is he? He's shocking, absolutely shocking manager. Look, you just put that up there. My thing of it is obviously you're spot on, Sav. Basically a 9-point swing, right? But at the moment, every time I watch us on the telly, it doesn't matter who we're playing against, we look like we're going to concede.
Oh, for sure.
All the time. Now, I know, like you say, it doesn't really matter to, as far as we're concerned, they've got to catch us, We could keep losing and keep losing. If they're not picking points up, then that's fine. But is anyone happy with finish 16th, 17th? Is anyone happy with that and getting knocked out of the trophies in a couple of weeks' time? It's Savva. It's absolutely, and I'll use your word, absolutely disgusting that this football club is in the position it sees itself now. It's disgusting. 57 years I've supported this lot, right? And there's been some not very nice times in those 57 years. But, this is ranking because Levy won't get rid of him. And I don't know why, right? But the man has got to go. We need a coaching, sharpish, to sort these players out.
I agree.
Sorry for ranting.
No, rant away. That's what he's about. John Smith, just before I move on to Lubo and Jay, if this is aimed at me, could you please explain? You've said you're so disappointed in the groups that claim others are just paying lip service to get subs. Then you do exactly the same. I thought you were genuine. Have I missed something? I don't understand what it is I've done. Could you please explain why I'm not genuine? Let me know. If there's something I've done, we can talk about it. But I'm not really sure who I'm paying lip service to. I speak my mind. Really weird comment. Lubo, I'll come to you and then I'll come to Jay. Lubo, can you hear us first and foremost?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So, Lubo, you were saying that it doesn't matter who's manager purely because Levy won't have us as a driving force in English football. Whereas my argument is, well, we know the food chain. We know we shouldn't be winning league titles. Of course it matters who's manager. We shouldn't be 15th.
Yes, you're talking about where we are now. You mentioned Brighton, you mentioned Fulham. First step would be to get up to where they are in the league. That's the first step. But I'm talking about let's look at Tottenham Hotspur 2035. Because for me, the bigger picture is the longer term future of the club. Ange will go. We'll get in a better manager. We'll be in a much better league position. But we're not going to threaten the Cities, the Arsenals, the Liverpools. We're going to be 4th, 5th, 6th with these owners because they're not going to bring in the right players. Well, it doesn't even start with the right players. It starts with bringing in a Scott Munn who brings in a Johan Lange who brings in a Postecoglou. So, there's 3 rungs of the ladder that are completely wrong. So if you new owners with new ideas that will bring in someone who is experienced in football to run the football side, like City did when they brought what's Bilixter in is that his name, from Barcelona. They brought in an expert from Barcelona, and you know, City didn't have this mad amount of success immediately. It didn't take them too long to get there, but they got there, and they were helped big time by having someone in charge of football who understood the game. So you've got to have the problem is Levy doesn't understand football, which isn't a problem if he brings in someone who does, the way Branson brings in experts to run his businesses for him. What does Branson know about records and airlines and trains? So get new owners in with a fresh outlook who want success as well as financial success, and then you've got a chance of challenging constant. I'm not saying guaranteed wins. I'm not saying I expect us to win. No, there are no guarantees in life. But at least we get back up there where we had those 2 years with Poch, where we're in the frame. We're never going to be in the frame now, having because we're not going to spend the wages on the right players to get us into that top three. So if we're going to be fourth or fifth, great, terrific. If that's what people are happy with, then fine. Then it doesn't make a difference who the owners are. But it does make a difference who the manager is. If you want more, then it doesn't make a difference who the manager is, but it does make a difference who the owner is.
Yeah, but Ian, now take off your Spurs hat. Imagine every football club had this theory. Imagine every football club said it doesn't matter who the manager is because we're not going to compete with City and Liverpool every year, right? No football club would ever change manager because we just go, well, it doesn't matter because we're not. I think we've got to remember, as much as I want to win league titles and stuff, we're not that club, right? We are not that club.
Hang on. Why can't we be that club?
Ian, hang on. Let me finish. I'm not saying we can't be that club, but many clubs will say what you've just said. Why can't we be that club? But first and foremost, to be that club, you've got to have some sort of management that works. To be that club, you've got to have a manager that you would back, right? We've got a manager that's taken us this way. Right? I know you can't see me, you're driving. I'm just pointing arrow downwards, right? Mm-hmm. You've got a manager that's taking you backwards. When we say, and I'll bring you in a second, Jay. Sorry for being thanks for being patient. When we're saying it doesn't matter who the manager is, isn't that like saying I'm married to someone, we don't get on, it's not been good for years, I'm just going to stay with them though because I don't think we can get anyone better. It doesn't make sense. If managers are doing badly, Lubo, you get a better manager in. Look how many clubs have sacked their manager. West Ham sacked their manager because he did poorly, right? West Ham fans aren't sitting there going, no point in sacking him because we're not winning league titles. West Ham are going, yeah, this guy did crap. Get him out, get a new manager in.
Hang on, Sam.
No?
You know that I have said I want Ange out tomorrow.
Sure.
So that argument against me doesn't work. My point is that I'm looking at the bigger picture, the much bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that I'm looking back at 24 years of ENIC, and we've had 2 years where in 15-16 with Leicester, 16-17 where Chelsea beat us, where we've been up and around the top of the league table. They're the only 2 years, and I've been following since 65, that we have had that. We've been third a few times, but we were third. We were miles off. Was it Liverpool in 71? We were third in 91. We were miles off Arsenal, who only lost one game that year. 85. We were top on New Year's Day.
We know all this. We know all the dates.
So
what's that got to do with?
I'm purely talking. My ambition is. I'm going one step on, Sav, from let's get rid of this manager and let's stabilise the club and let's bring in an Areola and let's get up to 4th, 5th, 6th. I'm saying that when you talk about it doesn't matter who the manager is. I'm not talking about changing Ange today. I'm talking the big picture is that you can have a really good manager who's going to get us close, but never close enough because he's never going to get the right backing from the owners.
Yeah.
And the way the owner is going now, everything outside football becomes more and more of a priority, and the football is becoming less of a priority.
But Ian, I think the thing is you've gone so many steps ahead. Like you're sounding like no offense, it sounds spoiled. Like if every football fan said this about their club, that it doesn't matter because we're not winning league titles, then every club other than the big 3 or 4 might as well stop playing football. Yeah. When Poch was manager, yes, we didn't get over the line, but we were respected. We were a very well-respected club in Europe, in the Premier League, because we were coached properly. No one at that time was saying, well, it doesn't matter who's in charge. Of course it matters in charge, right? By the way, sorry, in the chat, right? In the chat, please stop blocking people for no reason. Please stop blocking people for no reason. All right, let's stop doing that, all right? By the way, Chris is saying, correct, I've been saying to Savva, this settling for 3rd and 4th is high-level mediocrity. Hang on, Chris. The manager you're backing is nowhere near these numbers. I really feel that some people don't have common sense. Chris, let me put this in a way you understand, right? This club can take a league title and win silverware. Sure. But let's put the building blocks in place first to be able to even start talking about that. You're backing a manager, Chris, that is taking us so far this way and then saying to me about my level of mediocrity. What I'm saying is, let's get a manager in that stabilizes us first. Let's get a manager in that coaches us, makes us difficult to beat, and a well-drilled team first. Now, that manager doesn't have to be the manager for the next 5-10 years. Then, when you've done that, hopefully at some point when Ian excel, then you move forward. But you can't tell me you're sitting here and backing a losing manager that's lost 50% of his last 50 games, then have the audacity to talk to me about being 3rd and 4th is mediocrity. And when you say we, you're not a Spurs fan. You're not a Spurs fan. I'm going to bring in Jay. Before I do, I've got to clear this up. So sorry, Jay. I've got to clear this up because this comment here, I'm not having this. I'm not having this, John. I was watching the show yesterday with UNH. You agreed with what he was saying, but you stopped the show. I didn't agree with... I agreed with his football opinions. John, I don't want anyone talking about Nazis on my channel. I don't want anyone calling an Ange a fat Australian manager. I don't want anyone talking about all of Asia. I don't want anyone talking about players being effeminate. I stopped the stream and shut down and deleted the stream because that's not who I am. Yes, I was losing subscriptions, but more than losing subscriptions, I am obliged as a YouTuber and a creator to set some sort of a standard for the content I put out. I disagreed with it. I thought that some of it came across as very racist. I felt that some of it came across as really disrespectful, considering we're a mainly Jewish football club and we want to talk about Nazis. So, no, that's not me being double standards. I think I did a good thing yesterday. I could have left that show up. If you want to talk about this, John, sorry, this has really pissed me off, and you can do one. I don't need you. If I had left that video up, that video was getting views beyond belief, right? And I spoke to people behind the scenes that I trust in the YouTube, and I said, I have to delete this, don't I? Because this is disgusting. And they all said, yeah, this is wrong. Boom, deleted, put out an apology. So please, can you go away? Because the fact that you think it's okay that I should leave a video up and keep streaming when someone's talking about things like that is disgusting. Sorry if anyone disagrees with me, but I did the right thing. Yeah, this is a football channel. A lot of my friends who are Jewish are messaging me saying, what is this? And I'm like, what? I kind of didn't take it all in. I got sent the video clip that I watched back while I was on the stream, and I went, oh my God. So please, John, none of this. None of this. And yes, I lost subscribers. I would expect to lose subscribers. Sorry, Jay. I'm so sorry, mate. I can't have that.
No, it's all good. Can everyone hear me okay? Is that?
We can hear you, dude. We can hear you. Sorry. I can't have that, mate.
No, mate. Listen, you're doing the right thing, because it's so easy for people to now take 5 minutes of that stream, clip it up, take it out of context, and all of a sudden, Savva's the bigot who tolerates racism on his channel. No, there's none of that tolerated. So you did the right thing, man. And John, I mean, that just really goes to show how small-minded that is. You know, you're very ignorant. I can already tell you're an ignorant person. But
when you're saying I should have announced at the time, dude, you do realize when you're running a show, I've got the chat going on, right? I'm bringing up comments. I'm listening to my guy. I'm looking at my next questions, right? It kind of bypassed me exactly what he said. It was only when it was sent back to me, I went, oh, shit, I've got to do something about this. And where was the apology? Hang on. Sorry. I'm sorry. This really upsets me, if I'm going to be brutally honest, right? Where was my apology? Let's have a look. Here was my apology. I can't stand it when people like this do this. Here was my apology. There was my apology. I've removed the recently uploaded stream due to inappropriate comments made during the broadcast. These comments were unacceptable and may have caused offense. I want to make it clear they do not reflect my personal beliefs or the values of my channel. FHTV was created as a platform to discuss all things football. I sincerely apologize. This kind of behavior will not happen again and will not be tolerated. Is that not my apology? Sorry, Jay, I'll bring you in. I can't deal with dickheads like that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. You know, these are just a small subsection of the supporters that you've got. You've got a brilliant community over here, man. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we do get the odd mutants that come over here to stir up problems, but we haven't got time for it. Right now, we're talking about our football club. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. I was listening, you know, I understand what he's saying, and I don't know if anyone here agrees, but the biggest problem, we got a bigger problem than Daniel Levy, man. We've got the fans that sit here and just accept everything. Fans that sit there and say they take 15th in a trophy. You guys are exactly what's wrong with the football club, because you're enablers. And I'll keep using that word, enablers. As long as Daniel Levy, how I see it is, if you're providing a service, right, and the people that use your service never complain, they don't complain about your service, they keep on buying your service constantly, non-stop, then that doesn't give the person providing the service any incentive to improve. It doesn't. And as long as we're selling out the stadium, as long as the club shop's full, you know, the lines at the bars and the tap-ins are full, nothing is ever going to change. Nothing will change. So we can sit here and talk about Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's a problem. We know Daniel Levy's not going anywhere. So what we're doing right now is we're separating ourselves. We can talk about Daniel Levy for hours and hours. It's not going to change. What we're doing is we're looking at the man who's on the touchline, who is in charge of picking up results. And he isn't doing that right now. So we can call for his head. We're sitting 15th in the table. We're coming up against Liverpool at Anfield, a place that we've won 9 times in 100 years. And we think that this manager who can't get past Ipswich at home, can't get past Bournemouth away, can't get past Fulham, can't get past Rangers, can't get past Galatasaray and all of these teams, we're expecting him to now go to Anfield and get a result. Come on, people, wake up. Smell the coffee. Smell the coffee. The manager's not good enough, and the fans are sitting there. Why is Ange in press conferences saying it's all my fault? It's all my fault. It's all my fault. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, the Tottenham fans will sit there and say, "Oh well, I feel sorry for the gaffer. I feel sorry for the, I feel bad for him," and all of that. Nonsense, man. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Tottenham fans, listen to me carefully when I say this. The biggest problem at this football club isn't Levy, isn't the overseas fans that come to celebrate, isn't the players, it's not the manager. It is you guys that sit there and enable the crap that we have been served up for 20 plus years. It's you guys. But sorry, that's just my little tangent. Because the amount of abuse I get just for calling this crap out is unbelievable, Savva. I've been told, I've been sent threats. I've been told, oh, you won't come to the stadium. I go to the stadium every week. You know, Tottenham, without Tottenham, I don't know where I'd be. I've come from a lot of struggle. So I have an absolute right to sit here and demand more from my football club. I want to be the best team in England. Yeah, we can say we're not that club, but realistically, we're allowed to demand to be that club. But the only way we demand and we become that club, yeah, is by calling it out and demanding more. Imagine Daniel Levy sitting there and he listens to a fan on a podcast saying, I'll take 15th and a trophy. I'll take not finishing in the top 4 if it means Arsenal don't win the title. Levy's clapping, he's rubbing his hands. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're exactly what I need. Fans like you are exactly what I need. Because Tottenham is just an experience. Going to the stadium is just a day out. It's just an experience. And they're doing their best. And because I'm in the stadium, I can see it. They do their best to hide the past culture of the club, the winning, the FA Cup victories and all of this. They hide the heritage of the football club so that the new generation of fans think that all of this off the pitch stuff is success. But hey, man, we're the negative ones, right? Savva? We're the ones that don't love the club. We don't support Tottenham, apparently.
I hear you. I mean, look, I'll bring Lubo in a second. I just find it mesmerizing. Like, still, I'm reading comments now. Like, people are. I mean, this is where we're at with football these days. All the key stats, such as pressing, final third passing, XG, field tilt, show we're doing very well. This is football 2025, Jay. Unfortunately, this is football. Forget the results. Forget the league table. It's. I mean. What the F is field tilt? So what? We press well. So what? The league table there isn't a league table for pressing well. The league table tells you win, lose, draw, points. That's the only thing that matters, right, guys? Win, lose, draw, points. Field tilt, XG. This is the problem. Our fan base has changed. Lubo, would you agree with this? I think our fan base in the last 10, 15 years has changed to the point where it's so driven by non-footballing matters, non-footballing results-orientated metrics, field tilt, XG. Look at this guy. This guy here has said, the club is turning. I believe it. But you believe wrong. The evidence isn't showing that the club is turning. The evidence is showing that we're going this way. But because you believe it, we'll sit back. The club is turning. Forget the fans like me that have supported the club for 40 years and Lubo and Mark who have supported for 50 odd years. Right? Forget those fans that have seen it like this before. New fans who have been here 2 years going, the club is turning. What do you know about our club? What do you know if you think the club is turning?
Savva,
how are they turning? How is it turning?
I was at a Europa League game, yeah. I was at the Europa League game, and I had fans. I had an American guy, and shout out to all the overseas fans. Listen, we don't discriminate. You're all welcome to support our football club. We're all welcome to support our football club. I had an overseas fan ask me if there's penalty shootouts in a Europa League group stage game. This is the level of, this is the standard, this is the direction that this club are going in now. We're a tourist attraction. We aren't a football club. So when you're saying the club's turning, yeah, you're right. The club is turning into a shopping centre. The club's turning into a youth centre where we just go and buy a load of young players. We put them on a pedestal and pretend that they're all going to have the career Messi and Ronaldo had at 18, 19. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I've been supporting this club for a long time, and I can't remember the last time we went out there and signed a player that I can say, you know what, that's going to move the needle. That's going to, this is exactly what we need to be in a winning position. There's no winning culture at this club. There is no winning culture at this club. And I can tell you another thing. I got threatened to be banned from the stadium for calling out, that we've been 17 years or 18 years and we haven't won nothing. Yeah, they come up to me and they said to me, mate, you need to be quiet now. You need to be quiet now. You need to stop. You know, the fans that are coming to the stadium from overseas and that, you're deterring fans from coming to the stadium. What? Because I'm pointing out the fact that we're losers and we have a fan base full of losers who are happy to just be losers. Can you imagine? Can you imagine sitting there? Can you imagine all the players that won the double and, you know, won us European trophies? Can you imagine the looks on their faces if they heard a Tottenham fan come out and said, oh, you know what? I don't care about finishing in the top 4 as long as them lot down the road don't win a title. Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine? There'd be a
I can't imagine. I can't imagine because it's what happens, Jay. And like, look, I mean, look, lots of people loving you in the chat, Jay. Love the passion, love the, again, the difference for me and Lubo, I'll come to you. Look, whilst we might disagree on the way forward of it, he's gone. Whilst we might disagree, Mark, Jay, on the way forward of this club, what we can surely agree on is when fans tell you it's getting better and things are changing because Ange says it is, we can prove that it's not, and it's right here. We can prove that it's not, right? There's the first bit of proof. We are 9 points off the top half of the table. Jay, Mark, I'll ask you this. Can you remember the last time Tottenham at this stage in the season were 9 points off the top 10?
No, I don't remember a time. I don't remember a time. I think the worst time I've ever seen was, I think we were maybe 14th in the league. And yeah, that was quite a while. I was quite young when
What happened the last time we were 14th, by the way?
We won.
Do you know who it was?
The manager that won us the cup.
No, the last time we were 14th was Pochettino. What happened?
He got the boot.
After all those years of doing well. Now, I'm not saying it was necessarily wrong, guys, getting rid of him, because I think that nature had run its course by that time. He'd been here a very long time. But the last time a manager was 14th was Poch. And by the way, when we were 14th, we were only a few points off, like 7th or 8th. We're now 9 points off of mid-table, and we've still got people going, I believe we're turning it. And, you know, like, I don't know. Like, my mum brought me up that the truth is the truth. Like my mum didn't bring me up to go, if you just believe it, it's so. Now, if I've got a dream in life, I believe I'm going to be a professional, I don't know, architect. I'm going to be a professional, blah, blah, blah. Sure, go out there, study, work hard. That's my dream. I can make it happen. I can't just believe we're doing better when the results in my eyes show me that this is the worst we've been for a long time. And again, I'll show it for people like Chris who don't really want the truth. But for a club that he believes is getting better, the last 50 games, look at the state of it. I know I keep bringing this up, guys, but we are bottom in the last 50 games for clean sheets. We are third bottom.
Can I just add to that, to what you've just made, because that's a brilliant point.
Go for it.
I brought that up in a Tottenham space that I'm in, and the response was, oh, but look at the amount of goals we've scored. That's a title winning return. Are you insane? Are you actually insane? Like, are you crazy? Look at the amount of goals Brentford score. They score a lot of goals. They're not a team that you would even talk about winning a title. So what are you talking about? Oh, but we just need to fix our defense. We need to fix more than the defense, mate. Because even when we had Romero and Van der Ven, which again, no one wants to admit, we were getting carved open. When we were scumbagging wins, right, we're going 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and scoring goals in stoppage time, I was calling it out and saying, we can be happy, but eventually this is going to come back to bite us, because we're not going to be able to score 3 goals in stoppage time every single week. And now this season, we're starting to see, we go 1-0 down, we can't get back into the game. Hoffenheim had 21 shots on goal against us. 21 shots on goal. They're at the bottom of the Bundesliga. But again, everyone wants to talk about improvement. Ange is even sitting there saying, I'm 100% sure that we're in a better place. Mate, you're just enabling the problem. Leave me sitting there. If we're in a better place, why do I need to go and give you money to spend? I don't believe Ange should be allowed to spend another penny. Because if you look at the crap that he's brought in, he's proved that even when you give him money, he's not going to use it properly. 60 million on Solanke, 50 million on Johnson. Going out buying players for a system that he doesn't even play. You're buying Johnson, who runs off the shoulder of the last defender, and asking him to hug the touchline and put crosses into the box. Pedro Porro, we're asking him to bomb forward and do all of these things when he isn't that player. We need him to get back. He doesn't want to get back. In the midfield, you're asking Basuma to sit there and control the midfield, right? And he can't even control what he's doing on the weekend. He can't control himself. His thoughts are all over the place. It's stupid. Agreed. Dragusin, again, a defender that you sign who comes from a back three, and you're asking him to be our last defender on the halfway line. You're asking him to make recovery runs. But again, everyone wants to sit there and say, oh, these players are not good enough. Who's signing them? We can't sit there and say Ange hasn't sanctioned any of these players. Yes, he has. Because when they play crap, he comes out and defends them. So he clearly wanted these players. Right?
Jay?
You bought players for a and I've gone on a tangent, sorry boys, but you
bought
players for a counter-attacking system, but you don't want to play counter-attacking football. It doesn't make any sense. You bought transitional players, but don't want to play transitional style of play. It's confusing. I don't understand. So when I hear all this stuff about, oh, but these players are going to improve, they have reached their peak. They're crap. They're not good enough. That's the reality. Players like Johnson, even Kulusevski and Maddison, this is the best we're going to get from them. They've reached their peak. We can't ask any more from them. But, hey, man, Mr. Negative over. I'm the Tottenham League gunner now, guys. I'm Tottenham League gunner. That's what I've been. That's my.
You can't steal that title from me, Jay. I've been called the Tottenham League gunner for years, mate.
If calling out your club and asking for more, right, and asking to be successful makes you Tottenham League gunner, then I will take that title with me. I'll get it tatted on my skin tomorrow. Skin tomorrow.
Jay, would you agree with me that you sound as passionate, as committed as I am? We must get together for a drink pre-match, because everything 100%. I've heard from you, apart from what you just said about Porro, I agree with. Do you not agree that, as far as I'm concerned, we have money pouring in now? We have the infrastructure in place, and if we are paying the highest prices in Europe, then I expect Michelin 2-star, 3-star players on my pitch if I'm paying Michelin prices.
Exactly.
And because of that, I expect us to be competing and to be in the game. I don't expect to be a Brighton and a Fulham and a Brentford and a Forest. I expect this team to be up there. We're paying high prices. We're paying extortionate prices. I pay with all the cup games.
Lubo, you're taking out of context though. I don't expect to be Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, whatever. I use them right now as a factor to show just how shit Ange is, that those clubs are above us, right? We should be.
I've never disagreed with you on that.
Way above Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest. There is no excuse. We should be way above them. You know what? If this manager was as good as we think, all the people that talk about injuries, okay. So in the first 12, 13, 14 Premier League games of the season, when we didn't have many injuries, why weren't we right up there? Why was it our worst start to a Premier League season after 12 games? Right? Did you know that? It was our worst start for 17 years after 12 games. But everyone says, yeah, but when the players are back fit, well, what about when they were fit? What about when they were fit?
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. When the players were fit, they weren't performing. And I get what you're saying. Lubo. Like, we are paying stupid ticket prices. I'm there every week. I can tell you they're pricing normal fans and locals out of going, because they're the fans that are going to call out this crap. They're the fans that are singing the Levy chants. They're the fans, and again, even Levy now, he's banned anyone wearing Levy out merch from the stadium. Like, they're trying to phase it out. They're trying to bury it. So I get what you're saying, but I think the point that Savva was trying to get onto is that none of these teams have better squads than us, yet their managers are getting more out of the players that they have available to them. And that's what top managers do. That's what good managers do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Jay, Savva's talking about on a micro basis now, day to day, season to season. What I'm saying is on a macro basis. The teams that win the leagues in all the leagues, including ours, are the richest teams. There might be the odd one that breaks through, like a Leicester. But every year, the teams that are the richest, most affluent clubs, they win the leagues. Now, how come we are the only affluent club in the whole of Europe that doesn't get near to winning their league? That's my point.
3 reasons. Because we sign bang average players, because our fans like the bang average players that we sign and don't demand higher quality and higher standards, and because again, the stat, like, I know what you're saying, but it's almost like you're shouting at a brick wall, because unfortunately the standards are so low that success isn't winning the Premier League. Success is beating Arsenal in the North London derby. That's success to these fans. Success isn't going and winning, competing for the Champions League and competing for all the cups. Success is getting top 4, beating West Ham, beating Chelsea, and beating Arsenal in a season. Those are bragging rights. Those are what, and again, that has something to do with Daniel Levy changing the culture of the football club, phasing out the fans that demand success. Guys like me, like Savva, like yourself, we're not welcome in the stadium anymore. We're not welcome. We're not welcome.
Jay, can I get them? Jay, I want to get the marks in at some point. Jay, finish off, Lubo, then I'll get the marks.
No, so I still pointed the wrong way.
If any of us on this panel today took over at Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow, obviously the first thing short term would be to get us out of this mess. Long term would be to get us at the top table. Levy won't do that. That's the difference between how we feel and how he should be, what he should be doing. He's the only owner of an affluent club that doesn't want football success. And that's my biggest bugbear with this club.
Yeah.
Over to you guys.
Look, I completely agree with you. Look, let me bring in the 2 marks here. And listen, I really liked that back and forth between Ian and Jay. But please, no one ever come on my channel and apologize for venting and ranting. This is what it's for, man. This is what it's for the voice. I'll get some super chats in a minute. But Mark, look, it's true. Like what Lubo says, it is micro versus macro. And I think sometimes those 2 conversations do get mixed up. On a micro basis, I think Ange is absolutely shit, right? On a macro basis, Daniel Levy is obviously a massive problem if you want to get bigger and better. The problem is, this is the one time for me, the 2 marks, this is the one time for me that I want my Levy back. And I know Lubo and I were laughing about this the other day. Me and Stel said, I want my Levy back. Where's my Levy that sacks crap managers? Where's my Levy gone when I need him?
Yeah, well, he doesn't sack just crap managers. He sacks good ones as well.
You know what I mean. I mean.
I understand perfectly what you mean.
If a manager's performing like this, Mark, no other manager has survived this. And this manager is.
Now, do you know what I honestly think it is? I'm sorry, Mark, for taking over. I honestly think it's because football at the moment is not important. With all the money that the stadium now earns, the concerts, the rugby that's going to be there. I believe Eubank Junior's going there. Like Rolling Stones are going there for 3 or 4 nights. You know, the football, getting into the Champions League, yes, it's still important to a certain degree, but it's not as important as it once was. Because the stadium, basically that stadium is a cash printing machine.
Yeah, it's an ATM.
That's all it does. It prints money. It's a license to print money.
Yeah.
And And so the 50 to 100 million you get from the Champions League isn't that important anymore with the rest of the stuff that goes on there.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah, go for it. By the way,
about
Jay's going to
sponsors?
leave us
Do they
just
wanna-
quickly. Jay, take care, bro. Listen, loved your cameo, man. You should come on for Spurs for the last 15 minutes in games. Show that energy and passion.
No, man.
Amazing.
Big up, Jay.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to talk with you boys, man. Honestly, you know,
Always.
big up the chat as well. You know, big up everyone that subscribed and whatnot. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's been showing me a lot of support. Savva, your community is amazing. I've had a few of them in my chat showing me a lot of love recently on my streams and whatnot. So big thank you. And yeah, you will be seeing more of me, guys. Don't worry. I am the savior, guys. I will keep the standards high no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So
For you, man.
yeah, man.
For you.
Stay blessed, everyone. Take care. Leave
Take care, man.
Cheers, Jay.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Take care.
Didn't it look like Jay was in like Superman's cave there with kryptonite flashing all around
Yeah.
him? Lubo, yeah, you were saying, sorry, mate.
Can I ask? Yes. Can I just touch on what Mark said?
Yeah, go for it.
Listen, we've had the number of events increased, I think, from 15 or 16 to 30 for the next year. Now, yes, fine. If the money is going to be recycled into the football club, then I'm more than happy for them to keep earning. It's going to make us stronger and be able to compete better. But it's not. But the point of me jumping in now is to say to you, forget about Levy and what his priorities are and the fact that he is watering down the importance of the revenue from the footballing side. What about the sponsors? Do the sponsors want to be paying massive money for a team that's 12th, 13th, 15th and never ever challenging, not getting into Europe? At what point do the sponsors turn around? Maybe at the end of, if this goes on for 2 or 3 years now, Levy carries on this, keeping wages down, which brings down the level of the player we're going to buy. Sponsors, when it comes to renewing the contract, what are they going to say? Oh, I
Hang
don't
on,
know,
but
Daniel,
Lubo, is there an argument though that those sponsors just want to be associated with the brand rather than where the football team are? Because, like you said, we've got 30 events going on a year, right? Which, whether that be boxing, concerts, NFL, surely their sponsorship logo is going to be all around during those events as well, right? So I'll ask this question. Are these partnerships and these sponsorships, are they partnering with us now purely for Spurs and to be associated with the football club, or is it to be associated with the events complex that we've built?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
It's a good question. No, I'm
Thank
serious.
you.
It's a very, very good question.
I don't know, right?
The football has got to be the biggest thing globally. So you've got 60,000 every couple of weeks, plus the millions and millions and millions that are looking at Sky, you know, watching Sky, TNT, Amazon, whatever. You know, whoever it is in the States, Far East, etc. And they're watching it. So the football is going to give them far bigger coverage globally.
But that's not
The
true.
Rolling Stones concert.
But that's not true, because you've just said that they've increased it to 30 events. Even if Spurs got to the Champions League and FA Cup final, we wouldn't play 30 home games, would we? We played 19 in the league. All right, you might get 6 or 7. We could possibly get to 30 home games, depending on cup draws. But we now know that every year there's going to be more events at Tottenham Stadium than there is football matches. So surely now, even if we called it a 50-50 split, which it's not, surely they're not banking on, Spurs are 15th, this is a disaster. Surely they're going, well, I've got Rolling Stones fans seeing our brand. I've got Lady Gaga fans seeing it. I've got, forgive me, I don't know anything about that throwy American game. They've got the something Buccaneers or whatever seeing this brand. Sorry to belittle the sport. I just don't know anything about it. They've got Tyson Fury fans seeing their brand. They've got, you know, Anthony Joshua fans seeing their brand. So is it just football?
Eubank Junior soon. Eubank Junior's the next one, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Adele, I've heard mentioned as well.
So isn't it, Mark? Isn't it win-win then for those sponsors? Like we all keep saying, and this is the thing. Like when people talk about the protesting, like these sponsors won't want to be involved if they see protests out the ground and people saying leave it out. But what about the 30, 40 events going on a year that aren't Tottenham, where it's non-football fans in the ground buying things, seeing all their advertising? Mark, do they care? Do these sponsors care about where we are in the league?
Go on, mate.
Mark, above me. This Mark. The good-looking Mark.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Seth.
The Mark
Go on,
can have
brother.
sugar.
Go on, brother.
Sugary Mark.
No. He's the same as me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you two?
In a roundabout way, he is.
Yeah. I'll explain another time, Seth.
Sure. No, you're all right. You're all right. I get it. No, right. Look, you wouldn't want this. You wouldn't want a great big bar of dairy milk, right? Okay.
Certainly not.
Mark above me. Yeah. Will the sponsors care?
I think on the brand, the way it seems to me is that the football brand is being run. It's almost being run down. As big as our fan base will ever be, I don't see Tottenham Hotspur being promoted like the NFL stuff. You know, I think Ian was right. At the end of the day, they're still going to fill the stadium. And I want to ask Ian a question in a sec. They're still going to fill the stadium. That's all they're worried about doing. As long as they can fill it, they know what they're getting out of it. Like you say, people are going buying merch, the beer. I don't know how much it is for a bottle of Coca-Cola or whatever it is, but I can imagine it's not like £1 from down the shop. You know what I mean?
I think it's 350. 350 mark.
Madness. But yeah, the football side's just getting run down. That's how it seems to me anyway. Like Ian said, you know, sixth or seventh, you know, richest club, and we're worried about cutting a wage bill and buying players that I won't say didn't really want or didn't really need because of the position we're in now, but not buying better, more established quality players that could have helped us along a bit more. Because we are desperately short of that. Got no leaders in our team whatsoever. You know, I know people can say, well, people don't have leaders like they did back in the day, but we haven't got anyone. We haven't got anyone who can truly, you know, grab someone by the scruff of the neck if they are playing crap and tell them to pull their finger out. You know, I said on our show the other day, I see a break in play. I don't see the players going to Postecoglou. They're either going to Mason or they're going to the other fella. Is it Wells? I don't know. But yeah, man, it's a struggle at the moment. I think it's a struggle on all fronts. Again, going back to what Ian said, I think that he's almost, in a way, to me, it looks to me like he's almost stripping it, the football side. Seems like he's stripping it back that much, because I can't understand how we can be in the crisis injury-wise. We are just about fielding players, and he can't even go and get loans in because obviously he don't want to pay the wages. I don't know. But how are we not getting anyone in now?
But Mark, one of the things, if we go down this avenue now of transfers, and Lubo and I have had this chat, I think there's more to it than just not getting players in. I think what we've got to remember is all of the recruitment analysts, the scouts, the director of football, their job all year round, right, is to prepare for January's transfer window and the summer transfer window.
Yeah.
My belief, I'm not saying I'm right, Mark. This is purely Savva speculation, right? Bearing in mind, this is the guy that just said that throwy sport, so whatever, right? My belief is we probably would have had players that we want to bring in. They would have had players that they want to look at. But things change. And what I mean by that is players who you're going to bring in January are either... Huh? Okay, you have fun at the gym. See, I'm eating chocolate. She's going to the gym. The players we bring in, or any club brings in, I think there's two ways you do it in January. You either go balls deep and put big bids down and try and get people like Cunha out their football club, Marmoush to Man City. Yeah, you go balls deep with that one and you go, there's 75 million euros, boom. Or you get players that aren't being picked for their team and want more first-team football, right? So you look at a player like Kyle Walker, starting to be less and less involved at Man City, wants a new challenge, goes to Milan on loan. My problem is this. When people say, who are we bringing in, what's happening? I'll ask this question, and it's just a question. If you're a player wanting to go on loan and Spurs ring you up, one, you're saying, okay, so when everyone's fit, one, am I playing? Because we've seen you've got a history of not rotating footballers. So if I'm a centre-half, for example, am I going to play when Van der Ven and Romero are fit? Well, I think we've seen that I'm not going to. Right, I'm a left-back. Well, you're not going to drop a Dogie for me. You're a right-back, Porro, blah, 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 blah. I'm a left winger. You're not going to drop Son for me, blah, 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 right? Secondly, I'm going to look and go, everybody there's getting injured. Everybody at Tottenham's getting injured. Do I want my hamstring to go to it? Right? There's a second thing. Now, the biggest thing for me out of all these things, Mark, this is only my opinion, is teams are going to look at us in 15th and go, am I joining a sinking ship? Right? Most players are going to be cup tied for the FA Cup. They're going to be cup tied for the League Cup. Most, right? And they'll have to wait to be registered for Europe and won't be able to play in Europe until March, I believe, the next stages of that.
Yeah, it's right? Whenever that starts. Yeah.
Right. So
March,
you're looking and going,
March.
So hang on, it's the end of January, right? Am I going to get a game? Well, I might get a game for a few weeks until Van der Ven and Romero are fit. But after that, I'm going to be sitting on a bench for a team who are 15th. I can't play in the cup competitions. So I guess my whole rant there is about why would people of quality want to join us right now? And this is why when all these fans say, don't worry that we're 15th, don't worry about Ange's methods, you've got to think players and their agents will look at this stuff. Players and their agents will look and say, well, look at the last players that moved to Spurs in January. Timo Werner, look what's happened to him. Radu Dragusin went to Spurs last year in January, didn't get a minute of football. So I think there's more to it than who's just coming in. I don't think that we're attractive with this manager and where we are in the league. That's only my opinion, and I'll leave it to you guys.
No. Do you want to go, mate?
Go on, Mark.
We're not.
No, what?
You go while I'm under a tunnel here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what was going on. It's either that or you're in a rave club.
Just coming out of a tunnel now.
Yeah, I was going to say the thing is,
this isn't. Sorry, just quickly. This isn't true. When you're saying go in for players in multiple positions, like who plays multiple? It's not. I just don't think it's this simple. Sorry for me being. I just don't think it's Football Manager. Like you know, and I know. A back four, when Porro, Romero, Van der Ven and Udogie are fit, this manager's giving no one else game time. This is why those players are out on their limbs. No one's getting in above Kulusevski. No one's getting in above Bentancur and Solanke and Son. This is what this manager does.
Do we need these players as well? Do we need these players that are jack of all trades and master of none?
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'd sooner get the...
Mark, we've got one. We've got one at the club already who plays in all different positions. How many do you need?
Yeah. I mean, surely if we want a left back, for instance, go and get a left back, not one that can play left back, right back, centre back. You know what I mean? Just go and buy a bloody left back.
Reguil's at the club already. You don't need a left back.
Well, no, but that was an example.
You don't need
a
right back. Yeah, sure, but can I just sort of, Sav, can I just backtrack very quickly before I forget? We were talking about the Rolling Stones. I was involved with somebody who gets involved in all different types of deals, investments. And we were asked to try and find an investor for the rapper Dave, who's the American rapper called Dave. And part of the deal there was to find sponsors. So the Rolling Stones are coming in. They will potentialise their money by bringing in new sponsors. And there will be just like you've got a few sponsors who get involved in football, there'll probably be your regular sponsors that get involved in music. So the sponsors who sponsor Spurs, people like AIA, they will not be said, right, great, you know, your contract covers music. It doesn't. It won't do. There will be new sponsors for each individual event. So
okay, fair enough. Enough. Look, I agree with you.
The sponsors that are involved, Sav, cannot be happy with what's going on at Spurs. They can't be.
And allegedly.
Go on,
I was just about to say, allegedly, Dave is a UK rapper.
Is he a UK? Fair
that
enough.
means nothing to me. Well, whatever.
Fair enough.
It's a shit name, whatever it is.
The tour was in the States.
His real name's Rodney, allegedly. Allegedly.
Let me. I need to do some super chats, and I want to talk to the two Marks about the transfer thing. Just before we do, again, this is an interesting point that that Phil brings up. But again, let's look at this, Phil, and this is where it's not Football Manager. If you look at Dorgu at the moment is in talks with Napoli, right, who are fighting for the Italian title and are almost guaranteed Champions League football next year, right? And Man United. Now, the difference is at Man United, he's going to go in at Man United and be their first choice left wing back. There's the difference. Amorim will buy Dorgu and he'll play every game as their left-sided wing back. If Dorgu comes to Spurs, he's going to be competing with Udogie, who our fans think is magnificent. I don't think he's that great, but our fans think is magnificent. Dorgu's agent's going to be saying, well, hang on, if he joins Tottenham, what happens when Udogie's fit? Dorgu's not, he's being courted by massive clubs. Why would he join Tottenham to rotate or sit on a bench? You've got to think about these things. When players are moving, they want to play. It's not this simple. Spurs are not going to drop. What's the bids? Is it 40 million that people are bidding for this guy at the moment? Spurs aren't going to bid 40 million for a left back, who isn't a left back, by the way. He's a left wing back. For anyone that watches Dorgu play, he's not a left back. He's not going to do the inverted midfield thing, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, so look, Seven has said, totally agree with you, Savva. Your loyal watchers know that you ain't that type of person. Big up, we love you. Look, thank you, Seven. I've seen people asking why I didn't question the guy at the time. To be honest, a few of the comments, I wasn't actually 100% sure what he'd said. It was only afterwards when I watched the clips people had sent me, I realised how bad it was. And then I acted immediately, deleted the stream. And by the way, people, you've got to understand, when I delete the stream, I don't get paid, right? So me deleting the stream, if I didn't have shame, if I was someone that purely did it for that, I would have left it up and made money off it. But I thought it was wrong, so I got rid of it. But big up to you, Seven. AMT has said, last 5 games, 4 losses, 1 draw. Southampton, 4 losses, 1 draw. Mate, we can go back the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50. It's crap. Completely agree with you. Thank you very much. Howie has said, Savva, I saw some of that clip. Clearly, H's comment upset you, but we were constrained by podcast realities to immediately retort. We know. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I did the right thing. In my mind, I think I did the right thing. Still, I knew people. My wife said to me, you know, some people will still have a pop at you. And I said, yeah, of course. They'll have a pop at me if I could do a stream offering £1 million to everyone that watches. Someone would find a reason to say, well, it's not 2 million. Big up to you. Mark,
Can I just say on this, having like sort of run a channel between me and Mark, I pointed the right way, see? Right. Sometimes when people are talking, you don't see what's going on because you're concentrating on what you're doing with other things. And so it's very easy to miss things. Like when you're trying to run a channel, like pressing on things and doing stuff in the background, that you miss what's being said. You know, so yeah, absolutely. It's very easy to like, you know, if he allegedly said what he said, I'm not going to repeat nothing. But like, You know, I mean, it's very easy to miss that, like when you're like, yeah, you know. And
Yeah,
you did the right thing, Sav. If it's going to affect your pocket, we're taking it down, then fair play to you.
Well, it did. It massively did. It
Yeah.
massively did. But look, that's fine. Look, let's get back. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's get back to the football. Guys above. I'll ask you this question. The simple question first and foremost. Would you give Ange any more money?
No.
Right now, with how bad he's doing,
No.
would you give him more money?
No. I want that comment I made earlier when I was talking about, I don't want to give Ange money. What I was talking about was if they were thinking really to keep him, surely they would have gone in earlier in the transfer window. But because it's nothing at all, Sav, I'm talking about, they haven't even got, apart from the keeper, they haven't even got one outfield player to help. So
I agree.
You know, I don't want him to have anything because I want him gone. You know, I want to coach him to coach our players. But as far as transfers go, Sav, I don't know about you, but I don't take any notice of anything until he's holding that shirt up.
Of course.
That's me. You know, but there's so many out there now. We're getting this one, we're getting that one. Oh, it's 95% done. And it's not, it's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. You can never trust Spurs in a transfer. You know, when they're holding the shirt up, they're our player. But until then, they're not.
I've said many times with journalists, you chuck enough crap about and some of it sticks to the wall, then that's what you get remembered for. The stuff that fell on the floor, just for, you know, I could say we're going to sign, I could say we're going to sign, I don't know, Messi tomorrow. Of course we're not. You know, but like anybody can say we're signing anybody. Until it happens, I don't believe a word of it.
The thing that I find interesting, and look, as I'm scanning the comments, a lot of people are saying, well, sod it, we need bodies. I think that's the complete wrong way to look at it. I don't think we need bodies. We've got to bring in quality. And this is the problem. When we're saying just bring in bodies, we've seen Ange won't play the bodies. Right? And again, everyone talking about the injuries, you've got to remember, when everyone was fit, when did he ever say, Porro, have a rest today, Spence, you play at right back? Never. When did he ever say, Adogi, you have a rest today, Reggie or Spence play at left back? Never. When did he ever say, Romero, Van der Ven, have a rest today, Adogi, Dragashin's going to play? Never. When did he say, Solanke, have a rest, so-and-so? Never. He never, ever rotated players. So when people are saying bring in bodies, what does this mean? We've got to remember, I can't keep saying this enough. You've got to remember, players, if Mark above me, right, if Mark is Tottenham and he's ringing me about my player, right, let's forget who my player is. You're ringing me as the agent. You're saying, Savva, we want your player. We've heard he's available. Is he? And I say, look, he's exploring options. He's open to loans. Right, here's what we want to do. Cool. Just to let you know, my player wants to leave there because he's not getting game time.
Yeah.
Right? I want him to move somewhere where he's going to play every week.
Shop window stuff.
Right.
It's shop window. Yeah.
Yes. But we can't, we can't confirm that's going to happen because when look, Van der Ven and Romero are back next week. Adogi's back at the end of Feb. Porro, who's fit, by the way. Vicario's back soon. Right? All the midfielders are going to be fit soon, right? Sonny's fit. Solanke's going to be back in 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it is. All of these players are surely going to look and go, why am I going to go there on loan if once people are fit, I'm not getting game time? For me, what we need to do is be better the other way. We need to be better the other way and go, who are we buying that is better than what we've got? Who takes us from here? Even if it's just there, even if it's that little, who are we getting there? Bodies, you could go and get, like I'm seeing now, we're looking at Brian Brobby of Ajax. He's going to sit on the bench. When everyone's fit, he's going to sit on the bench. There's a reason Ajax aren't playing him. Fine, bring in that body. Do you know what those people will do that are saying just bring in bodies? They'll then say, yeah, but Ange wasn't backed with quality players. So, You know,
I think
these injuries aren't going to last forever.
That's my point. You know, that Romero and Mickey have been out since first week of November. First week December. So we've gone through 2.5 months without Vicario, which actually the keepers that have come in, Forster, Austin, and Kinski, have all been pretty good.
Yeah.
So the drop in quality hasn't been anywhere near what some of us feared. And Kinski's going to give him a good run for his money, I think, going forward. But Mickey and Romero are nearly back. Basuma's, that's a short-term injury.
Yep.
I think Johnson's fairly short-term. You got Solanke with 6 weeks. Odebear's probably going to be March as well. So within a few weeks, everybody's back. Now, Champions League and 5th place with the coefficient is gone. So all we've literally got is to shore up our league position and do as well as we can. For me personally, I can't see us beating Liverpool and Villa. Do as well as we can in Europe, and I do think we have, particularly if we get a different manager in, which we need to do quickly. I think he'll be gone. I think Pange will be gone after the Liverpool and Villa games. For me, as Mark said, he's not being backed. I think they're basically leaving him to hang himself. Basically, they're giving him enough rope to hang himself, and they obviously don't want to spend money while he's at the club. So I think the way I see it going forward, you're not going to get anybody decent coming in. You're only going to get players joining now that have had a massive bust up with the club. Can't think of any, or those that are not playing and they're not going to come and sit on the bench at Spurs. They may as well stay where they are. So for me, you just see it. You just ride it out now. I think you've got 3 players back for tomorrow. You've got Spencer and Reguilon, and the Korean kid will go back into the squad. So you got 3 in, and we just got to ride it out. We should definitely have enough to beat Leicester, and then I think we'll all look at the league position, and hopefully we'll be 11 clear with 15 to go. And you think to yourself, 4 games, that's based on on us having a most disastrous time, which I can't see. I think we'll win a few games heading into the back of the season, and we'll probably finish 12th or 13th. So for me, the aim I would like to see us, we're not going to get higher than that. I can't see us getting 9th or 10th. I think we're too far back now.
Agreed.
And playing in this chaotic way, we're just not going to string enough decent results together to make an impact on the top 8. So for me, let's go for the Europa League. We're in the cups, do our best in the cups, and write off the league this season. And hopefully, please God, get rid of this manager. Have an interim manager. It doesn't matter who it is. Just have an interim manager that sets the team up in a proper system, a mature, grown-up way. We'll win a few, we'll lose a few, but at least it'll give us a chance in the Europa to go all out and try and win a trophy. And for me, that's what this season holds now for the next 4 months. I can't see it being any better than that.
I agree. By the way, Romano's just reported that Hermoso, if anybody watches European football, I'm sure most people do, Hermoso is likely to leave and go to Bayer Leverkusen on a free, just to let that sink in. So there are players out there, but we just don't seem to work on that. He's a Roma player at the moment. But look, I don't want to go forever. I want to go for another 10, 15 minutes, and we'll bring you some live scores as they come in. For me, I get it. Like, I know me and Phil in the chat don't often agree on a lot. I love him to bits, but I think, Phil, the point you're missing with this is Ange. Ange is the missing point. When you're saying it doesn't work like that, we saw against Chelsea that the moment Van der Ven and Romero were fit, he chucked both of them into the same game, leaving out Radu Dragusin, who was the only 100% fit centre-back, played them both. They both get injured. This manager does not rotate. When his best 11 are available, he never veers away from that, Phil. You know it. I know it. That's the point. You do realise these scouts, these agents, they do their jobs. They do their jobs. The question they're going to ask, and guys, all on this panel, we've all seen these documentaries on Amazon, the All or Nothing documentaries, right? We've seen like the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, and there's the one on Newcastle, and all of these clubs, Salford, all of these clubs, doesn't matter what level you're at, you see the scouts on the phone and their agents are saying, is he going to play? We can't guarantee it. Yeah, well, hang on, so-and-so down the road, they're guaranteeing him football. I don't know why our fans don't get that. Why would people join us? I just don't get it. I don't know good players. Why would good players join us right now?
No one that's any good's going to join us, Savva, are they? Without, and that's another reason why I think if the people upstairs had any ambition on the football pitch, seeing how it was going and how it's gone for the last 15 months, to me, even if they'd have got rid of him at the beginning of the window and then brought someone in and that was going to change the tactics, change the shape, do whatever, but then give them a chance. Give them a couple of free players. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I don't, at the moment, with the position we're in, you know, we need quality in. We've got to get some quality in. It's obviously not going to happen this window, or if it is, we're all going to be very surprised. So we are where we are, Sav, and until he's gone, I'm with Ian on this, until he's gone, it's not going to change. And I don't even think it is when the players come back from injury. All that was proved before, wasn't it? 1% shift. A 1% shift with Van der Ven and Romero.
People don't want to see it, Mark. People don't want that fact.
I don't get it. I don't understand it, you know. But perhaps I've just got higher standards for my football club, Savva, because all I see is, or a lot of the time, in chats that I'm in and on our show, a lot of the time, all you see is proper negativity. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's negativity in the ground. And that was the question that I wanted to ask you, Ian. Sorry, Savva, for jumping in just while I think of it. Ian, you go every week. And I'll be honest with you, 57 years a Tottenham fan, mate, and I've never been to the Levy Bowl because I won't give him my money. Right? It's as simple as that. I've never been. Right? I was at White Hart Lane all the time, but I just can't give this bloke my money. Ian, when you're in the stadium, over the course of maybe since the stadium opened to now, are you seeing a massive shift in real fans that are there and tourist fans that are there? Because I'm not there, so I don't know. So, I mean, would you think it's an 80-20, real fans, 20% tourist, or is it bigger than that? I don't know.
Well, the ground increased from 36,000 to 62.
Yeah.
Which is 2/3 pretty much, just over. Yeah. So the amount of tourists you're going to get is going to be greater, isn't it? Pro rata. You know, if you keep the same percentage, and it's probably gone up, I would think. I don't see tourists who coming in they support Sun. You know, so fine, they're supporting Sonny. It's not a negative. It's not, you know, it's not like the Liverpool cop, is it? But it's not a negative. What is, for me, it's. I think he's just taken the soul. He's taken the guts out of the club, and I think more and more people, you know, if you want to go for the experience for the ground, go on the stadium tour. Come away from the stadium tour. It's fantastic. It's this. It's that. Cool. You want to see what the H Club's like. You see the view from the top. You know, I've done the stadium tour. It's a great stadium, but come match day, I'm there to watch the 11 players or the 16 players on the pitch. I'm not interested in how great my seat is and how great my view is and you know, how lovely the ground is. But the problem is that there are too many people that go for the experience rather than the experience of the stadium tour. They extend that to match day. This is about going to follow your team. And there aren't enough people. I mean, unfortunately, people that were born after the glory days of the last century, obviously there's nothing you know, they were born too late to see the glory nights that we've seen. And they don't have the same standards. They don't remember those nights. They obviously weren't there. So they come in, you know, the only thing, my son's nearly 25. The only thing he's had really, he's seeing the team win was Wembley 08. That's the only bit of success that he's seen. He doesn't know anything else. You know, we've had some great nights with Inter Milan. You know, taxi for Maicon, and luckily he was with me at the San Siro when Bale got that hat trick.
Who, Maicon?
No, Bale, when Bale got the hat trick, and Amsterdam, of course, was just magnificent. That was just fantastic. But he hasn't had the nights, he hasn't had the experiences, and a lot of the fans don't have this experience, so they don't have the standards. They're not used to it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the problem.
Same with the players, Ian. Same with the players. Like when all these people in the last few weeks have been trying to tell me that Kulusevski is as good as David Ginola, things like that, and you go, you've not experienced top footballers, right? Just quickly, can I ask you guys a question? I want to get everyone in the chat as well. We're going to end soon. I know Mark Sheriff, you've got to run, and we are.
1 minute. I got 2 minutes though.
Okay. Well, we are going to end the show at 15:15 anyway, so I'm going to end the show in 8 minutes. Here's a question for you. So the fact that we are down the bottom and everyone's talking about relegation battles, the fact that Wolves are below us, does that mean we want Arsenal to win at Wolves today?
No.
I'd never go that far.
Why? What? If you guys, hang on, not you, Sheriff, we haven't talked about this, but these two, this way, these two have told me, we can still get relegated. So surely we'd want Wolves to lose, wouldn't we?
No,
well, for me,
to win. Get out of it off our own back. Sorry, that's for me. We got to get out and deserve it.
Sure, but surely, I'm just sitting devil's advocate. We're all talking about, hang on, if the teams below us go on a good run and we don't. So when I'm talking about one of those teams losing, we're all going, oh, no, it's Arsenal. I'll sit here right now. I want Arsenal to win that game. They're nowhere near us. They're 20 points clear of us. They've got nothing to do. I don't see Arsenal as our rivals right now. If I'm honest with you guys, we are West Ham level. We are not on par with Chelsea, with Arsenal. For me, I want Arsenal to win this game because I don't trust Spurs to do the jobs themselves. So I want Arsenal. By the way, my man Iriola, Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 0. As it stands, Bournemouth are 16 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur. 16. By the way, Bournemouth have got 11 players out injured today. 11 players out injured. I thought you weren't allowed to win games with injured squads.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, you're not allowed to win games with injured squads. But Bournemouth 1, Forest 0. And if we're going to talk about managers adapting, guys, Bournemouth have lost both their strikers, which is Unau and Evan Nilsson. They've now gone to putting Kluivert further forward. He's banging in goals left, right, and centre. Isn't it amazing what happens when a manager adapts?
And coaches properly.
It's
amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing what happens.
Coaching's everything, Savva. At the end of the day, you know, a lot of people say professional footballers are professional footballers and they don't need coaching. But there's always new aspects to their game, whether it be a system change, whether it be playing in a different position, maybe, you know, even if it's short term, you know, sometimes players have to adapt and adjust, you know, to what their manager wants. Our players don't have to do any of that because he just does the same crap every week. So how are they going to get any better? We've seen the same stuff for the last 15 months. And Ian will know better. I know there's odd games, Ian. I know there's odd games where, you know, we've gone away to City. City came onto us, mate. They pushed onto us, and it made the space in behind a lot easier, and we could play counter-attacking football. Would you not agree on that?
I would, and I hope that happens at Liverpool Thursday week. Because
by the way,
5% chance of winning there, I think, Sav, and that's the only chance we have is play deep, hit him on the counter, and be clinical, and have a luck. And whichever keeper's in plays a blinder.
Yeah, no, I agree. By the way, Southampton 1, Newcastle United 0. Jan Bednarak scored that goal. But I just find it interesting. Like People are saying how long they've been injured for. Well, I've just gone back 8 league games ago. Bearing in mind, Bournemouth have not lost. This will be, if they don't lose today, this will be 12 Premier League games without defeat, which is phenomenal, right? 12. Yeah. I've just gone back 8 league games ago. So right at the beginning of this 12-game run, and they had 7 first-team players out injured. So throughout this entire run, they've been missing between 5 and 11 players. There's the difference. They've got a well-drilled system where the players who step in understand what's required of them. There's no inverted players here, inverted players there. Get the best out of your players. This is why the excuse injury, I'm not hearing it, because Iraola, look what he's doing. By the way, Liverpool won, Ipswich 0. You get the feeling that's going to be a really long day for Ipswich at Anfield. Dominic Szoboszlai has scored. Yes.
Sav, do you also think, of course, listen, I'm not arguing that obviously Iraola's coaching them and they're drilled. The other point I do want to make is that the drop-off between first team and the rest of the squads for Bournemouth is probably not as large as it is at Spurs.
Oh, don't be daft. Don't be daft. But sorry, Ian, look at the players that are coming in.
Okay. Let's just say, fine. Porro and Spence agreed. Udogie and Reggie, I think Udogie on form is different class.
But that's not
Van der Ven and Davis.
Hang on, but Ian,
Solanke,
no, hang on, Ian, hang on. But when Udogie doesn't play at left back, it's Spence that's playing there. It's Spence, not Reggie, who's playing there. So that's not the like for like. Spence, for me, has come in and done better than Udogie's done this season. When you're saying about the drop-off, where's the drop-off?
Sonny and Werner?
Sure, but how many games has Son missed? Go on. How many games has Son missed?
Werner's played a few games. He's played.
No, that's not what I asked.
He was on average last year.
That's not what I asked.
I've got the figures in front of me.
We all know Sonny's not missed many games.
Do we not think, Sav, that the Bournemouth squad is more, in terms of ability, is more of much of a muchness?
The players we're bringing in should be getting comfortably into Bournemouth's first team. This is copium.
They're not good enough. They're not good enough. I keep saying our squad is not as good as people think it is.
Yes, but you're now sitting here trying to justify that Bournemouth substitutes.
Anyway.
Come on.
I am saying that a big part of it is the coaching, but I'm also saying that I don't think there is as much of a drop off at Bournemouth because the players are of a similar quality as they are at Spurs.
But not as good as our players. This makes no sense.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's the question, isn't it? Maybe they are. A lot of them are a lot better than our players.
Right.
Look at how they're playing now. Look where they are in the table.
I'll go back to my usual thing. If at the beginning of the season I had said to anybody,
no, forget
who
the
do you
beginning
want?
Of the season.
Hang on, no.
No.
I'll go back and say at the beginning of the season, if I had said to anybody, right, who would you want in midfield? Is it going to be Saar, Basuma and Bentancur, or is it going to be Ryan Christie, Cook, or Tyler Adams? Every Spurs fan would have said, right, Basuma, Bentancur, Saar. Every Spurs fan.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We both thought between 5th and 8th, correct?
I said 7th, yeah. Yeah,
okay. I said anything between 5th and 8th. Let's see where Bournemouth finish and then compare that league position to where we thought Spurs would finish. That will be we can then make a judgment.
But Ian, we can't make a judgment because the point is this. The point is with a better manager, this squad would be doing what Bournemouth are doing. This is the point that I can't seem to get through. Bournemouth with 11 injuries, right, are 12 Premier League games unbeaten because they are well drilled. Watch Bournemouth play. They look like a unit. Watch Spurs play. We're all over the place. There's no We're crap on the transition. No one can defend at fullback because they're out of position. The centre backs are high up the pitch. The wingers can't beat a man. They're instructed to cut in. Iriola would sort this out. I don't care what anyone says.
So if we had, say, forget Iriola's with Bournemouth. Say we started with Thomas Frank, start of the season, or Marco Silva. Just to give 2 examples.
Yeah.
We will be looking at between 5th and 8th. Would you agree?
I think if we'd had a Marco Silva, I would expect to be 5th or 6th. 5th, if I'm honest.
Okay. So if Bournemouth finished 5th or 6th, would you then say that their squad is pretty much on the same sort of level as ours?
No. Bournemouth squad, I don't care what anyone says. Bournemouth are a team where the parts are greater than the sum, or whatever that saying is. Bournemouth are. This is the thing I can't understand. Look,
hang on, Sam. If we're 5th or 6th and they finish 5th or 6th, then there's nothing in it, is there? Because the facts speak for themselves after 38
yes,
games.
but Ian, you're not
it's
listening.
Hypothetical. It's hypothetical.
Yes,
because
but
Ian,
Ian,
it's not happening, but
Ian, they are punching above their weight because they're coached brilliantly. We are 15th because we are not coached at all. What Spurs play? You've said it yourself.
That's not the argument. That's not what I'm saying to you.
That is
I
the
agree
argument.
with you on that point.
That is the
I
argument.
agree with you on that point. What I'm saying is that a different manager would have us around 5th, 6th, 7th. And Bournemouth are going to finish there as well.
This manager should have us 7th. As I've said to you, with a better manager, I think we would be 5th, fighting for 4th with a better manager. We were 5th last season. We've added a 20-goal a season striker.
Only because of the top 10. Only because of the top first 10 games. That's all.
Sure.
After that,
but they
it was
still
rubbish,
happened.
and we only...
Well, but they still happened, Ian.
But
listen,
the trend was down. The trend was down, wasn't it?
Ian, I agree. But you cannot tell me this revisionism that Bournemouth have a better squad than Tottenham Hotspur is bananas. No one in England said this in the... No one.
No, they didn't. But with
why
hindsight
didn't they?
now, with hindsight, but Bournemouth's players have got better, and our players have got worse.
No, our Bournemouth's players are coached. Our players are not coached.
Whatever you want to say, so that fine. They're coached and they've improved through coaching, and our players have gone backwards. So you look at it, and to me, we finished 12th after the first 10 games. We finished 12th underrange. So if he's going to carry on playing the same way, why is he going to improve from those last 28 games so that we finish 5th, 6th, 7th? There's no logic behind that, is there?
Okay. So let's use your own logic against you. Where did you predict Spurs to finish this season?
I was wrong, and I've admitted I was wrong.
No. Hang on. Go on.
I said
when did you predict?
I said between 5th and 8th.
Hang on.
I got it wrong. I admit I got it wrong because.
But Ian, this is the point. This is the point. You're trying to battle me on logic when you, as yourself, your logic in the summer was 5th to 8th. Now, whenever we debate, your argument is, why should we be any higher than 12th or 15th?
That's right.
But everybody...
Because hindsight, Sam, am I not allowed to say I was wrong? I'm being objective here. I'm looking at a situation in hindsight and said, you know what? I was wrong. I should have actually considered the last 28 games and thought to myself, for the last 28 games, they finished 12th. He's only brought in Solanke. He's not changing the system at all. So why would I expect better? Seriously?
So let me ask you this. So let's put it like this. With this manager, right? This manager, we are where we are. With a better manager, if we had Iriola in charge, who's got great tactics, good man management, good coaching, can deal with injuries, where would Tottenham Hotspur be?
6th, 7th. To be honest with you, because I think there are better teams.
Sure. So my argument stands. So we'd be 9.
There are at least 5 better teams.
Sure. So we'd be 9 places higher in the league table by your reckoning, right? So this
best
argument
scenario, best scenario,
right. Okay. So this is the point. Coaching is absolutely everything, not just coaching, the belief, the man management for the players. And again, what makes me laugh is any of our fans, right, that want to say, but we've got injuries. Cool. When you say, but Bournemouth have injuries, but. Hang on, no. If we're going to use injuries as an excuse, and I'm saying, well, this team have got as many injuries and they're flying, what's the excuse? Like Bournemouth with 11 injuries, Ian, or 10, whatever it is, haven't lost in 12 games. You would expect Bournemouth would have, okay, they've lost 3 or 4 in that 12 games because of their injuries. They've not lost a single one. They've not lost a single game. Why?
Well, listen, if you're drilled properly and all the squad are drilled the same way, then on the positive, you've got Bournemouth with injuries. And on the negative, with Tottenham, you've got injuries. There's no difference because it's chaos with us.
Sorry, just quickly. I said my father is Australian. My dad is not Australian. What are you waffling about? And by the way, if we win the Carabao Cup, I will still feel the same about Ange. I don't think he's a good manager. Again, for a cup, brilliant. But for the long term, I think he's a shit coach. I can't keep saying that, Chris. My dad is not Greek. He's Greek, not Greek. My dad is Greek. My dad was born in Cyprus from Paphos. I never said my dad was Australian. What are we doing here? On that note,
End the stream, Dave. End the stream, Dave.
And let the panel know, Sav, you are not related to Postecoglou.
I am not. No. What I said was, Ange Postecoglou is Greek, right? Ange Postecoglou is of Greek heritage, right? As am I. I am half Greek, right? By the way, I don't give a monkeys that Ange is Australian. I just hate his management. He could be English, Greek, Brazilian, from Timbuktu. He could be anything. I don't care. I just don't like him as a manager. Listen, guys, I have put a link in the chat. I will be live at 5:15 on Big Up. I'm going to watch a Man City versus Chelsea, which should be an entertaining game. I think it was 4-4 last year, if I'm not wrong, at the Etihad between those two. Maybe 3-3. I know that was a high-scoring game that was a draw. Wow. Anyway, no, Chris, because I'm not as easily pleased as fans like you. No. So I'm going to be live at 5:15. It is pinned. Here is the link. If you do want to join me, they're much better. It's so much better than YouTube at times because there's no Spurs talk. We all have a laugh. We talk about the game and we talk about football without being infiltrated by the cult. Mark, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And like your front room. It's a lovely front room you've got going on there.
That's not, it's not, Sav. Don't worry. It's not.
Yeah, I know. I know. We've all used it before on a Teams or Zooms call. Don't worry about that. Big up to you as well, Ian. I love you. You know, we have debates. We agree I'm right, and then you still come back on the next show. I love it, Ian. Thank you so much.
No. Sorry, you agree you're right. I don't agree you're right.
Ian, on a serious note, isn't that the famous Brian Clough thing? Isn't it? You know, how do you sort out differences with your players? He says, well, we sit down, both sides talk, then we agree I'm right, and we move on. Love it. Anyway. Take care, everybody.
So do we call you Cloughy now? Do we call you Cloughy?
Yeah. Good film, by the way. If anyone hasn't seen The Damned United, that's a really good film.
It is a good film.
Yeah.
Saw it when it first came out. Brilliant.
Oh, Mark, you've got to watch it. By the way, if I was to say that Newcastle have equalised, who would you think scored for Newcastle?
Isak,
yeah.
Isak scored a penalty. Southampton won. Newcastle won. Guys, girls, take care. I'm going to go and relax for 2 hours before we're back live. Thank you for everyone. I've really enjoyed it. I don't think I've missed any super chats. Thank you. If you've subscribed, thank you. Take care. Levy out. Enoch out. Lubo out. Come on, you
You
Spurs.
Spurs.